licensed psychologist, and here we talk about psychology and true crime. I am so glad to talk with you all about Lori's cross-examination. We know that Lori Vallow is representing herself. So far, I did a video covering her opening statements, and she's staying away from things that the jury probably has questions about, and she's bringing up stuff that makes absolutely no sense. Day 2 of the trial was painful for me personally because Lori Vallow on cross-examination, she just kept asking the for the firefighter, whoever was testifying, it was almost as though she was just having them go through their testimony all over again. And her questions really weren't adding anything to the conversation. It just seemed to just be like, okay, like she was trying to find holes in their arguments. She was trying to find holes in their investigation. But to me, she really wasn't doing that. I do wonder if there is somebody with some medical training on the jury, because one of the juror questions was very specific when it came to the response of, did they try a certain type of medication? Did they do a certain technique? But it was a very technical answer, which makes me think that one of the jurors likely has some a type of background like that. Welcome to the chat. Hey, mama. And then just so you all know, Nightbot does not like more than 3 emojis. And so if you do it, it's fine. Nightbot will just give you a warning, but Nightbot gets a little testy. Okay. So we are going to start with just a little taste for anybody that missed it, just a little taste of Lori Vallow cross-examining a retired detective that was on the scene the day they responded to the incident. All right. So I'm going to make myself a little smaller. Where is it? There we go. All right. Let's listen to this.
So could this fabric of his shirt have caused the wound to be short?
It could have been a contributor, but it would not have been in this particular case.
Why so?
The body would have been on the floor where the bullet defect was in the floor.
So you just said in your report earlier that a short wound could be caused by tight clothing. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you're saying that could not have happened in this case?
The shirt did not appear to be tight clothing to me.
Well, it was made of bamboo, as we established, right? Is that correct?
I am taking your word for it. I do not know that it's a bamboo shirt.
Okay. And you did not investigate that at all?
No, ma'am.
But you had the shirt in your possession?
It was seized as evidence, yes.
And you never checked what kind of fabric it was?
No, ma'am.
And you never checked if that could be a possibility?
No, ma'am.
So she's doing a decent job trying to raise some type of doubt in this situation, but because I guess she doesn't like the narrative that the state is giving for how the incident occurred. So I think that's why she's trying to go back and forth over this.
And you knew that spandex was kind of a material that could make that kind of short mark that you just mentioned, correct?
It would have to be super tight clothing.
Super tight clothing?
Yes.
Or a fabric that's even stronger than the spandex that you mentioned?
The strength of the fabric, I don't believe, has a huge play in it unless it is form-fitting and compressing the skin, much like a hard surface or firm surface would.
Okay. But what you said in your report was that held in place by tight clothing could cause a short wound.
As has been explained to me, yes.
Okay. Detective, in your report, you mention
He's finding her.
So it is possible that his shirt could have caused the wound and not the...
Please don't go back to that. And I think the state is going to object.
I'm going to object to asked and answered.
Judge,
I'll let him answer.
I don't know if it's possible or not for that particular shirt to have caused a short wound.
Because you...
The judge gave her one there, I think, because I think it was asked and answered. I'm not a lawyer, but that she asked that same question multiple times. The judge was very kind, was very, very kind, having a Perry Mason moment with a $200 bamboo shirt. And so she's harping on small details, and I don't know if this is trying to distract the jury. Like, I'm not exactly sure what her approach is with this. I do want to compare her to Sarah Boone, and I do have a poll up. Go on ahead and vote on the poll as you come in. Is cross examination going better than expected? Is it going worse than expected, or is this about what you expected from this case? I thought she was more professional um, with the police and fire witnesses once we get to the people that she's probably mad at. So once we get to Nancy Joe, and we are going to watch some of Lori's cross-examination of Nancy Joe. I'm going to highlight just a little bit of her testimony. She was the last person um, to see Charles outside of Lori, Alex, to see Charles alive. They went on a date the day before this incident, and she describes him as a wonderful man. Nancy Joe describes that Charles did not speak negatively about his ex when he probably, well, like, he was like, what Nancy said is he still spoke very kindly about Lori, that he didn't seem vengeful, he didn't seem angry. Like, she was just like, he just seemed to talk about her in a very kind way. And so Nancy, I thought, did a great job. Um, it's going to come up that she has bumped into some of the members of Lori's family or some of the other witnesses, because I think, especially the LDS community, it sounds like it might be kind of tight knit, and so she has I think 15 grandchildren. I could be wrong on that number, but she has all these grandchildren, and she just so happened to bump into somebody at a game. I think Lori was intimidated by her. So I don't think she was trying to intimidate Lori. I think she was just there to say the facts. So Charles died in July, no, June. I want to say June or July. I think it was June. Not, I think it's July. He died in the summer of 2019. She didn't find out that he passed until December of 2019, when we know, when the children go missing and there's all of this other news, national news, and they also bring up his death too. So after their date, he never messages her again, because they were planning to get together on the day of I want to say it's the 11th. Yes, July 11th. Thank you. They were planning to get together on July 11th for like lunch or something, and he just never got back to her, and she thought the date went pretty well. Okay. So let's get into a little bit of Nancy Joe's test. I think this right here is cross-examination. All right. So let's start it from about here. Let me go back. Trying to find a good starting point.
Next day. Can you describe Charles?
So this is the state asking her questions. You know what? I think Lori doesn't start until after the lunch break. So let's start with Lori after the lunch break.
Once. I've texted her here and there regarding.
I think this is about, has she had contact with Kay?
I've texted her here and there about other things. I don't know what I can say.
Okay. How many times have you texted her?
I have no idea.
Like more than 10?
Maybe.
Okay.
She's gonna-
Have you ever turned over those communications to the state?
No.
Did they ask you for them?
No.
Okay. Did you ever turn over the text conversations you had with my husband to the state?
I was never asked, but I understand that they retrieved them via having them through Charles' phone.
Okay.
I would have had I been asked.
Okay. Did you turn over any other communications that you had with anyone else regarding this case to the state?
I don't believe I've had any other regarding this case to turn over to anybody, so no.
Okay. How many times have you spoken to this prosecutor?
To Ms. Kay,
Yes, to
So I'm going to speed this part up just a little. We're going to go 1.25. So just a little bit. We're going to speed it up just a little. Okay.
Ms. K.
I met with her once in person and one other phone call, and then just text messages about the logistics of being here today.
Okay. How many text messages would you say?
I have no idea.
More than 10?
I know court was running behind, so she had to text me to come at a different time, probably counting yesterday and today to redo the time, more than 10, yes. Prior than that, probably no.
Okay. Did you have a meeting with her to prepare for this testimony?
I met with her once,
How long was that meeting?
an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Okay. Was anyone else there?
No,
Have you ever spoken to my brother, Adam?
yes, but only because I ran into him at my grandson's pickleball tournament the other day.
And how did you know that was him?
Because I've seen him on media via the situation surrounding you.
Situation surrounding
So
you.
you initiated a conversation with him?
I just said hi, and that was, he asked me who my grandson was, and I pointed it out, and that was the end of it.
So you introduced yourself to him? To my brother?
I don't know that I introduced myself, but maybe.
How would he know who you were?
I don't know that he knew who I was. I knew who he was.
So you went up and talked to him?
I did talk with him, yes.
He didn't call you over, so you went up and talked to him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And when you were talking to him,
And Nancy is being so polite, saying yes, ma'am, and all of those things. Okay, some people are wanting to go back to before lunch because I think this is when Lori starts getting into the fact that she was dating her husband at the time. But so Lori had a whole boyfriend. And so Lori's trying to act like she's, I don't know, wife of the year. Like she's trying to act like the fact that Charles is on a dating app communicating with other people and Lori was having a whole affair with somebody else. She's bringing up the fact that Nancy Joe was communicating with a married man, but like Charles, it sounds like Charles wanted a divorce. He was moving to Arizona to be closer to JJ. And it's a lot. So let's watch this part. So we went back. I backed it up. Thank you to the chat. Y'all are amazing. That some of the sassy part was before lunch.
stated that your husband, or my husband, told you that he was going through a divorce. Is that correct?
And all of a sudden he's her husband. Because I thought her husband was Chad Daybell. I thought Lori's husband was Chad Daybell. All of a sudden, she's trying to act like Charles is her husband. Like that, and she's going to do the my husband over and over. And I think this is for the jury. I think this is really for the jury. But okay. All right. We'll keep it going.
That's correct.
And did you have any way to verify that?
How would you?
No,
I don't
I
know.
didn't try to verify that.
Okay. So did it surprise you later to find out that we were not in the process of a divorce?
Charles was in the process of a divorce.
He was not in the process of a divorce. Did it surprise you to find that out?
Goodness. Why is she arguing with her about it?
You've seen it all on TV where we're not getting divorced.
Okay.
So
And I don't know who prepared Nancy Joe. So I don't know if the prosecutor encouraged them to not go back and forth with her, to just answer her questions. Like, I don't know who, or if Nancy, just a part of her job, if she's just good at managing her emotions. And because to me, she continues to show Lori so much respect. And I think she came off like a credible witness. Now, as it goes on, you can kind of tell she doesn't like Lori as a person, but like if you know some of the details of the allegations, you're really not gonna be that fond of Lori. But I just thought that she did such a phenomenal job here. All right, we'll keep it going.
On the website that you met him, did he say he was divorced?
Don't remember.
I'm not certain.
Would you have gone on a date with him if he would have said he was married?
If I would have realized how married he still was, maybe not. But I just met for dinner. I wasn't sleeping with him or anything.
Do you go on dates with married men?
I'm going to
Not
object
naturally?
argumentative.
It was.
I'm going to also object under 611 for harassment.
All right. I'll sustain the objection.
Your Honor, do I not have a right to cross-examine this witness for what she has already testified to?
They're gonna have to have a
You can
sidebar.
cross-examine her about what she's testified to.
So you did go on a date with a married man,
I went on a date with Charles.
but you did not know he was married.
I knew his divorce was not final.
His divorce was not started.
Nancy could teach some classes on how to not react. Like Nancy, you know, yes or, and Lori could have said yes or no, you went on a date with a married man. Like she could have made her like just answer yes or no. She could have said, please direct the witness to only answer my problems or answer my questions. Like Lori could have tried to redirect it some, but Nancy does not play. Like she gray rocked her so good. I went on I went on a date with Charles. You went on a date with a married man? I went on a date with Charles. Even though you knew his divorce wasn't final? Oh, it's just, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And Lori does come off like she's badgering the witness to me a little. Not a lawyer, but just she's getting angry at her. And I don't think that's going to look good in front of the jury. Because to me, Lori is coming off kind of jealous. Let me know in the chat if she's coming across kind of jealous to you. Sarah mentioned desperate.
Okay.
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 So in your text messages, you asked Charles if he was a good kisser. Is that correct?
Maybe, sure.
Did he answer that text message?
I'm
gonna
sure.
object to
I'm sure he did.
relevance.
How is that relevant?
Again, 611 harassment.
I'll sustain the objection for relevance and hearsay.
The judge added one in. It was also hearsay.
So are you trying to tell me and this jury that you went on one date with my husband and he told you all the details of our lives?
I'm telling you the truth, and that's what I know.
So you spent your whole date getting to know each other, talking about me.
Don't flatter yourself. No, we did not spend the whole time talking about you.
Chat, thank you for having me go back. Cause Nancy Joe, we're gonna have to go back. We're gonna have to hear that one again. Okay. We're gonna have to hear that one again. Ma'am, we did not, and I'm paraphrasing, this isn't what she said, but she said, do not flatter yourself. We did not spend the entire date talking about you. Like chef's kiss. Like that was so good. We have to go back. Okay.
Whole date getting to know each other, talking about me.
Don't flatter yourself. No, we did not spend the whole time talking about you.
You knew a lot about me, right?
I knew what I've testified to.
Exactly.
What else did you talk about on your date?
Lots of things.
Like what, for instance?
Life, kids, the church, lots of things.
Okay.
What
Did he tell you about anything about our other 4 children?
Yes,
So you knew that we did have 5 children as well?
I did.
Okay. Did he talk to you about my daughter Tylee?
He did.
Did he talk about his relationship with her?
I don't recall that.
Did he talk about the contention in his relationship with my daughter Tylee?
I don't recall that.
I'm sure you don't.
I'm sure you don't.
And I'm going to object to comments by the defendant made after questions testifying.
We'll sustain the objection.
Because she is sneaking in little sly comments after her questions or after responses. I'm sure you don't. You can't do that. You just can't. All right.
On your date, you talked about my husband was a life insurance salesman. Is that correct?
I knew he did something with money, and
To me, that was the best part of her testimony. Now, let's get to Lori's cross-examination of Christina Atwood. Did she do that this day or was it the next day? Let's see if that was day, because we start off with Adam. Okay, they must have done it this day. Because they had to play some of her testimony back for her. Y'all let me know in the chat how y'all thought her direct examination went. It seemed like she didn't remember some of the details of some of her testimony, and I wasn't sure how that came off to the jury. All right, let's play a little bit of this.
First time you're hearing that Charles is possessed.
If I said it then yes.
When you were meeting on this weekend, or this weekend, what do you remember about this group meeting? Was it a night, a weekend? How was that?
It was an evening. We may have met twice in the evening that weekend.
Did you know where Serena was from? Like, did she live locally?
She did not. She was visiting from out of state.
When you were meeting
Speed this up a little bit.
at these in February of 2019, do you recall telling police that Lori was talking about Charles being dark or having a dark spirit?
Yes.
And do you recall saying that he was possessed and she had a name for who he was possessed by?
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Sure.
Ned.
Do you recall telling the police that he was possessed and she had a name for who he was possessed by?
I don't recall, but believe that I said it.
Thought it was Ned.
Would listening to your recording help refresh your recollection as to that?
Yes.
They're going to listen to it. I'm going to fast forward through that part because we don't get to hear that part. And then the audio went out on Court TV's feed, and it comes back magically. And it went out for a little bit because I think they had to cut the audio for a portion, but I think it should be back, and they had technical difficulties. And now, okay. Audio still not back. Welcome. I'm Dr. Barry. Here we talk about psychology and true crime. Because the sound still isn't back for this one.
A month after you had heard him say he wanted to kill Charles, correct?
Yes.
Did you feel like after you confronted Lori that she
Thank you.
distanced herself from you?
Yes.
Did that seem to be the same as what you heard and saw happening with Serena?
I don't know.
Okay. On the 9th, you had heard Lori talking negative about Serena, correct?
Yes.
And she hadn't been invited to that meeting.
She lived out of state, so it wasn't surprised that she wasn't invited.
Had she flown in for a previous meeting, though?
Yes.
So,
Just the one, the initial one.
The details that they're getting out is some of the odd statements, people hearing some of Lori talking about that Charles is possessed, and that's the testimony the state is trying to elicit.
in terms of your interactions with Lori, did she ever tell you that she was joking about her husband being possessed?
No.
Did she ever tell you she was joking about him having this dark spirit inhabiting him?
No.
And did she ever, you told us that she told you there was a name for this spirit that you don't recall now, correct?
Yes.
Did she ever tell you she was joking about that?
No.
No other questions. Thank you.
All right, Cross,
No questions, Your Honor.
are there any questions for this witness from the jury? Not
From the
seeing any.
jury.
Ma'am, you can step down.
Thank you.
And really, that witness, so Lori decided to not cross-examine her at all. And then we get into Adam's testimony. And so Lori's brother, who, let me share this tab. There we go. So I'm going to start it at normal speed, and I'll speed it up if I need to. We're gonna watch all of his testimony. I missed this testimony. Friday was busy. I think this was from Thursday, but Thursday and Friday my schedule was booked. I thought she did cross Adam, but Charles and Adam were supposed to do an intervention with Lori on right around July 11th. And so he's going to get into that. And I just want to hear his testimony. All right. Yep. There was no court on Friday. So this was from Thursday. Full links are down in the description if you want to check those out. Without my lovely interruptions, I know most of y'all are here for them. So.
Sir, would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Adam Cox.
How old are you, Adam?
I just turned 56.
And what do you currently do for a living or for life?
I'm a pro pickleball player and instructor.
Cool. That's awesome.
Where are you living now? Just what state?
I live in Arizona.
Back in July of 2019, where were you living?
Wichita, Kansas.
Prior to your,
If you have to leave early, Lori was so like, how could he not remember her green chili enchiladas? Like that's going to come up on cross-examination. So that's just a little, like she was so mad. I did not have green chili enchiladas on my bingo card. It was not on my bingo card at all. We're also going to watch Kay's testimony too.
pickleball career, did you have a different career?
I did.
What was that?
I was a radio morning show host.
Okay. Is that why you were in Wichita?
Yes.
Did that make you travel a lot?
Yes.
So I want to talk to you about your family first, okay?
Okay.
Where did you grow up?
Grew up in Southern California.
Okay. Do you have any siblings?
Yes.
How many?
5. Or
And-
4 siblings.
Can you tell us the names of the 5 siblings you had growing up?
Stacy, Alex, Lori, and Summer.
For Alex, did people refer to him as Al sometimes?
Yes.
And for Summer, did people call her Sum?
Yes.
Were your sisters Lori and Summer close?
Yes.
I want to ask you about another family member. Back in 2019, Melanie Boudreau. How is she related to your family?
Melanie is my oldest sister, Stacy's daughter, so she's my niece.
And was your sister Lori close with Melanie?
Yes.
Do you see your sister Lori in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you point her out and tell us what she's wearing?
She's sitting there wearing black blazer.
And may the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant.
Good job.
In July of 2019, was your sister married?
Yes.
Who was she married to?
Charles Vallow.
And so in July of 2019, was your sister known as Lori Vallow?
Yes.
Do you know approximately how long Lori and Charles were married?
I think over 10 years.
Okay. Do you know if your sister, since the passing of Charles, married Chad Daybell?
Yes.
Did Lori, your sister Lori, have any children from prior marriages before she and Charles got together?
Yes.
And who were those?
Colby and Tylee.
Okay. And were they from the same marriage?
No.
By July of 2019, was Colby an adult?
Yes.
Do you have a son, Zach?
Yes.
Did your son Zach ever live with Lori and Charles for a bit?
Yes.
Did he move in there after Colby moved out?
Yes.
In July of 2019, was Lori's other daughter, Tylee, still under the age of 18?
Yes.
Do you know whether or not Charles helped raise Colby and Tylee?
Yes.
Did you know if Charles had any children from prior marriage?
Yes.
Do you know how many children he had from a prior marriage?
I think 2.
Okay. And do you know if either of those 2 children lived with Lori or Charles?
Visited. I don't know if they ever lived there.
Okay. Did Lori and Charles have any kids together?
JJ?
Was JJ adopted? Okay. So did they adopt him together?
Yes.
Okay. So in 2019, did Lori and Charles have just JJ and Tylee as their kids living with them?
Yes.
Did Lori and Charles always live in Arizona?
No.
Where else did you know them to live?
Texas and Hawaii.
Okay. We had talked about your brother Alex or Al. Were you close with your brother Alex?
Somewhat.
Do you know where Alex was living in July of 2019? What state?
Arizona.
And can you?
So I wanted to highlight Lisa's comment that there are some family members that have ostracized Adam for testifying against Lori. And he sounds like one of the healthiest Cox, like people from the family. So when you stay in a toxic family system and you follow all their rules, you engage in all the toxicity, the secrets, all of that, that often becomes problematic. There will be issues. The person that breaks away. So I don't know if if the family would view him as like somebody that is the truth teller, the person that cut off or like stepped away to tell the truth. He sounds very like principled, and so I truly do wish him all the best. I think his testimony is going great, and the state is also very prepared and kind of getting the information that they want out. And when I think of black sheep, I think that's the one that the family tries to put all of their problems on. But I think he's been successful. So normally the black sheep, they might struggle. They might have some issues in school, or the black sheep normally is struggling in some way. But I do agree that the family tries to blame things on him. So I do see him more of as like a truth teller or a scapegoat I see him as like a scapegoat or a truth teller in their family dynamic. I definitely think Alex was the black sheep. Alex had major issues. He had major problems. Um, he did a lot of crimes. And yes. All right. Let's keep it going.
Can you describe your brother Alex's relationship with your sister Lori? Were they close?
I mean, I don't know if close is the word I would use growing up, but
Describe
just
for us.
normal brother-sister relationship, I guess.
As they became adults, did they continue to be close, or what do you recall of their relationship?
Yeah, over the last, I guess 4 or 5 years,
The last 4 or 5 years between them was what?
they were closer, they were close for like a year and a half, is what I remember.
Before this happened?
Yeah, they became oddly close for a while.
I agree with oddly close. Their relationship seemed weird to me personally. But I think Lori was using Alex. In my own personal thoughts and opinion, I think Lori uses people.
How about the relationship between Charles and Alex? Do you recall what that was like?
Just a normal brother-in-law relationship, I guess.
Did you ever know them to do things just the two of them?
No, I don't have any knowledge of that.
Did your family sort of do a lot of big family events where everyone might be together?
Yes, yeah,
Birthday meals, holidays?
yes,
Adam, did you grow up a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints?
yes,
And are you still a member of that?
yes,
At some point, was your brother Alex excommunicated?
yes.
Do you recall when that was?
I think he was excommunicated twice. So I'm not sure the dates or when that happened, but when he was an adult.
In 2019, was he still excommunicated to your knowledge?
Yes.
What does that mean to be excommunicated?
It means that you do certain things to where the church, it takes away your membership from the church.
Are you able to go to temple if you're excommunicated?
No.
Is that important?
Going to the church in our faith is important, yes.
Let's talk about your relationship with Charles Vallow. Did you and Charles ever text?
Yes,
Did you and Charles ever talk on the phone?
yes,
When Lori and Charles were married, were you aware that Charles would pay for things for the family, like cell phones?
yeah, I heard that there's people in our family they're on his business cell plan.
Or car?
So they're saying other family members that are outside. So it sounds like he would get cell phone plans for people outside of the household.
For insurance?
Don't know about car insurance, but
You knew about the cell phones.
yeah.
Did you know what Charles did for a living?
Yes.
What was it?
He sold insurance.
Okay. Did you know what kind of insurance?
No, he explained it one time, but he was doing something with school teachers or helping them with their situation.
Okay. Did you know whether or not Charles traveled a lot for work?
Yes.
Was he traveling to other states?
Yes.
And was that sort of throughout his marriage with Lori?
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware of whether or not your sister, Lori, worked prior to marrying Charles?
Yes.
Do you know what kind of work she did?
She was a hairstylist.
Okay.
Okay. So, because people are asking why Alex was excommunicated, and I found on eastidahonews.com, there was an interview with, it looks like his ex-wife. But Debbie said that while he and I were married, he got excommunicated from the Mormon church. He was really convicted in faith, but where he was weak was in that he was promiscuous, and he ended up getting kicked out of the church. She thought he was an addict, and so because people are asking in the chat why he was excommunicated, according to his ex Debbie, that is what she said. Okay.
After she married Charles, did she continue to work outside the home?
At a hair salon?
Yeah.
No, not that I know of.
Was it your understanding Charles worked so she could take care of the children?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
So you were unaware of her doing any sort of outside work like she had done prior to being married to him?
Yeah, I don't know any of that.
At some point, did you learn or become aware of the fact that Lori and Charles were having some marital problems?
Yes,
Just yes or no, did you ever talk to Charles about why he and Lori were having marital problems?
yes.
You yourself personally, were you aware of Lori having any beliefs that were outside of what is accepted by the LDS religion?
Yes.
Can you tell us what you were aware of that you knew to be outside the LDS religion?
Lori told me that she was in the process of translating from a mortal human being to an immortal human being, a celestial state.
That's something that the LDS religion supports?
I haven't heard of it that it's happened here on Earth yet.
Did you ever hear her talking about being married to someone that is relevant in your religion?
Yes, I have heard that.
Did she tell that to you?
I don't know. I can't recall her telling me that, but I remember other people telling me that.
Okay. Was there anything else that you recall her telling you that she believed that seemed outside the LDS religion?
Yes. There was a time where she told me that she had more priesthood authority than the priesthood.
And why, can you explain for us what that means, why that was significant to you?
In our religion,
I want to pause this. Thank you, Northwest, for adding this. Translated beings or becoming celestial is persons who are chained so that they do not experience pain or death until their resurrection to immortality. And that is not something that that is like the LDS faith. To my knowledge, that's not something that they believe has ever happened. Because I think Charles, no, I'm sorry, it's too many names. Chad and Lori both felt they were in the process of doing those things. Lily. Okay.
the men hold the priesthood, and she said that she's in a state where she's above that.
Okay.
I didn't quite understand it, but very strange.
Did you confront her about these beliefs?
Confront her? No.
Did you discuss with her about these beliefs?
I just let her say what she wanted to say.
Was there ever a conversation where, when she was telling you these things, where she asked if you thought she was crazy?
Yes.
How did you respond to that?
I said, I don't know if you're crazy, but what you're telling me is not true. It's not real.
After you said that, what happened to your relationship with Lori?
She stopped talking to me.
Okay. Were you ever aware of Lori believing that people could be dark or possessed by evil spirits?
I later have learned that, yes.
Did you ever try to tell your family about the beliefs that Lori had expressed to you?
Yes.
What was your family's reaction?
One of the reaction was, she's in a delusion, let her do whatever she's doing and she'll come out of it at some point.
I'm surprised Lori didn't, because he brought up the word delusion. So, like, I'm surprised because she's not objecting at all to any of this. She's probably just feverishly taking notes about the things that she doesn't like and the questions that she has, but she is not objecting to, and I don't know that the judge would have done anything. Like, I don't know if she could have, but this is just, I think it's strong evidence for the state.
How did this impact your relationship with your family when you're bringing up these concerns about Lori?
They basically cut me off.
Yeah, that's sad.
So you bringing up your concerns about Lori's beliefs being at odds with the LDS religion sort of terminated your good relationship with your family.
Yes.
At the end of June of 2019, do you recall Charles sending you some emails that were purportedly written by him asking Chad Daybell to come out to Arizona and write a book for him?
Yes.
And did you, without going into it, did you review that email?
Yes.
Did you know Charles, what he had done in his life prior to selling insurance?
Yeah, I know that he played minor league baseball.
And in this email was the person pretending to be Charles asking about writing a book about his career?
Yes.
Was that something you knew Charles was not interested in?
No, he's not, or wasn't.
After you saw those emails that Charles had forwarded to you, where someone was reaching out to Chad, were they inviting Chad out to Arizona?
Yes.
After reading that and getting that forward and talking with Charles, did you believe that Lori was having an affair with Chad Daybell?
Yes.
Did you and Charles spend time talking about that?
Yes.
Was he kind of, I guess, in a tailspin? I'm not sure the best words to say from learning that.
Yeah, he seemed a little desperate.
Did Charles have some idea on how he thought he might be able to get Lori back into the LDS faith?
Yes.
What did you understand that to be?
Charles just thought that Lori was going overboard and that she was going to the temple like 5 times a week, and that's not normal in our religion, and that she was going a little off the wall. So he figured that if she got her temple recommend taken away from her, that she would come back to normal, who she was before she started in all this things that she was believing.
Now, you told us that you had heard yourself some ideas by Lori that were outside the LDS religion. Did Charles also tell you about other things that she had told him?
Yes.
Okay. And so did you talk with Charles about something that we'll term an intervention?
Yes.
What did you mean by an intervention?
Intervention means he's kind of desperate because nobody in our family would talk to him. I'm sure that, Lori had told people in our family not to talk to him. So he thought that, having an intervention would be getting in front of her, recording her, giving it to the stake president, or having the stake president hear what she was talking about and hear the crazy things that she was saying.
So the intervention was part of the way to try to get her to come back to the mainstream LDS beliefs.
Yes.
Did Charles ask you to help him with this intervention?
Yes, he did.
Did you guys have a specific plan, like on X date at X time, we're going to do this?
No.
Had you talked to Charles about potentially going to Lori's and recording her on your phone?
Yes.
Did you talk to Charles and text him about another idea of having a family dinner and again, recording her so that you could play that for the stake president?
Yes.
We're using a term there, stake president. Who is that? What is that in your religion?
Well, in our religion, we have our churches organized to where we have wards, and then a bigger, like 4 or 5 wards are in a stake, and then there's a president of the stake, and so it's somebody who's in charge of everybody in the stake.
Okay. So someone that's pretty high up in the church.
Yes, yeah.
And so the idea was,
So I wish they had went into the temple recommend a little bit more. So I was trying to see, because on the LDS website, there is information. When a member enters the temple and presents his or her recommend at the temple recommend desk, the temple worker will scan the barcode on the recommend. I wonder if this is like a pass to get you in and out. I don't know. Because what to do if your temple recommend is lost. And so maybe this is how you get into church, maybe. Correct me in the chat. Because Temple recommends. They did not go into it. I haven't watched all of his testimony, so I don't know if the jury asked a question about that or if there's more clarification given to that later.
to bring any of these recordings to show she's saying these things
Thank you.
to his attention.
Yes.
Thank you, Jedi Mormon.
And again, the point of that whole is to just try to take away her temple recommend.
Yes.
So on July 9th of 2019, did Charles talk to you about him flying you out so that you can help him with this intervention?
Yes, he did.
And did he offer to purchase your flight
Yes,
to bring you to Arizona?
yes,
At that time, did your parents live here in Arizona?
yes, they did.
At that time, was Lori here in Arizona?
Yes, she was.
And you told us your brother Alex was living here as well at that time?
Yes,
Was your sister Summer also living here at that time?
yes,
And after Charles purchased your tickets, did you reach out to anyone in your family to ask if you could stay with them?
yes.
Who did you reach out to?
Alex, my brother.
And did he offer to let you stay with him?
Yes, he did.
Were you supposed to fly in on the next day, July 10th?
Yes,
So your understanding was when you flew in on the 10th, you'd reach out to Alex and you'd spend the night there.
yes.
Did you end up staying with him?
No, I did not.
So when you landed in Phoenix on July 10th of 2019, do you recall what time of the day it was approximately?
Sometime around lunch.
Okay. And did you reach out to Alex?
Yes, I texted him as soon as I landed.
Did you get a text response back?
No, I did not.
Was that unusual?
Yes,
So he's expecting you, right?
yes,
Did you try calling him?
yes, I did.
Did he answer your phone?
No,
Okay, so this is getting into the odd part of like why are they ignoring Adam's phone calls? Is there something else going on?
he did not.
Again, was that unusual to you?
Yes.
Did you think anything was odd at that time?
Yeah, at first I was like, he can't be that busy. He knows I'm coming.
Did Alex ever respond to you on the 10th?
No.
So he ghosted you.
Yes.
What did you think when you didn't hear back from Alex?
I just thought it was very strange and bizarre.
Okay. So you were supposed to be staying at Alex's. When you talked to him on the 9th, did Alex ever text you between when you guys talked and when you landed saying, I'm going to go stay at Lori's?
No.
Did Alex ever call or text you and tell you, I can't have you stay with me. I know I initially said okay, but not anymore.
No.
So he just ignored you.
Yes.
Where'd you end up staying?
My mom and dad's house.
Okay. On July 10th, did you understand Charles was also flying into Phoenix?
Yes.
Did you see Charles on the 10th?
No, I did not.
Did you see your sister Lori on the 10th?
No, I did not.
So you told us you stayed with your parents. What did you do on the 10th?
They picked me up and we went to lunch. And then we just, I think, hung out at the house.
You said your son Zach lived here at the time.
Yes.
Who was he living with at that time?
I think he was living with my mom and dad.
Okay. So although you didn't talk with Charles on the 10th, did you have an understanding of what he was going to do the morning of the 11th?
Yes.
What was that?
He was going to go pick up JJ, his son. It was his turn to, I guess, have him for a few days or whatever.
Were Charles and JJ really close?
Yes.
So the morning of July 11th, you were not expecting to get together with Charles at 7 in the morning, right?
No.
Did you get a text message from Charles?
Yes, I did.
And did you learn where Alex was?
Yes, I did.
Where did you learn Alex was?
Alex was at Lori's house.
When you learned this, was Charles texting you sort of in real time as he is coming to the house,
Yes.
explaining to you what he's seeing and what's going on?
Yes.
And are you responding back to him?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm seeing, so please know, so the full testimony is available down in the description. I have a link to Court TV's coverage. I think all of this goes on for about an hour. I want to say it might be like, I think it's over an hour. We are going to skip ahead to cross-examination. Okay. Okay. Just give me a second to find it.
What he wanted to try to get an intervention with Lori and also to see my friend Eric, because I live in Wichita. So I was trying to do 3 things at one time on my short visit.
So on the
Okay. Because I'm wondering if right when we see Lori, if that's when the cross-examination starts. Let's go back a little bit.
Cross?
Got it. Cross-examination. Let's go.
Mr. Cox, how long has it been since we've seen each other in person?
Don't know.
When was the last time you saw me?
I don't recall.
So, has it been a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 6
Something like
years,
that.
7 years, 8 years?
Something.
Okay, so you have no idea.
I do not know who prepared the witnesses for how to not react, but maybe these witnesses just know Lori so well or know antagonistic personalities like this where they are just covering things from that way. Um I saw, let me just answer this question. So I did a video talking about male SA and I talked about the Menendez brothers case. It might be in the entertainment because I covered the Netflix series. I don't know that I specifically talked about developmental trauma, but and if their case, because they're possibly like there are issues around are they going to be eligible for parole or not. If something major happens with their case, I will cover it. All right. All right. So let's go on ahead and keep going with Cross because she is so upset that he can't remember exactly what day, excuse me, the last time they saw each other.
Nope.
You have no idea when the last time you saw me in person.
You just
I
answered.
don't know the year or how many years it's been.
Okay, so did you see me at Colby's wedding in January 2018?
No, I was not there.
You didn't come to Colby's wedding.
No, I did not.
Okay.
So did you see me sometime that year?
But like and her tone for you didn't come to Colby's wedding, her tone sounds accused like, oh, you didn't come to his wedding. Like she probably knows when the last time she saw him and she's just I don't know why she's doing this, but we're gonna watch it anyway.
At my house,
Possibly.
where Colby got married. That house.
I did see you at that house. Yes.
At least one time.
Yes.
So possibly in 2018.
Yes.
And when was the last time we had any communications?
The last time I remember our communications was you and I were speaking in the kitchen when the family was over.
Okay, so you think that was that time in 2018?
I think so.
Okay. And were we eating my green chili chicken enchiladas?
Do not remember that.
You do not remember that?
Nope.
Is that what I made every time we had a family get together, which was like 10 times a year?
I don't remember that.
Okay. And when was the last time that we had a phone call or text message?
I am. So I wanted my reaction to be big for the green chili enchiladas. Okay. So I am going to make myself bigger. I'm going to make myself smaller, but do not forget and so, okay. Anybody that's new here, sometimes we laugh to keep from crying. Okay. Like this case is incredibly sad. Okay. Like, but, and the state just let it go because she's getting mad over, you don't remember my green chili enchiladas? Like if I was on the jury, I would be like, dude, like, like you don't remember us talking in the kitchen while eating my famous food? No, I don't. I don't remember. I did. So y'all, I had sushi for lunch. I would remember what I ate, but like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just can't. But we have to keep going. So let's keep it going.
I have no idea.
Could it possibly be around that exact same time?
Possibly.
Okay. So that was possibly in early 2018?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he already said that she stopped talking to him when he pushed back on her delusional, I'm going to be a celestial being, people are dark, zombies. And I don't know that he went into all of that, but like this is, if you don't know gray rock, when an individual is trying to trigger you, especially if they have narcissistic traits, if you react, you fuel the fire and it just makes things worse. Sometimes when you gray rock, they can still get upset and they can still escalate, but at least you're staying calm and you're not saying or doing things that are outside of your character. Because to me, the witnesses staying calm while she's getting upset over trivial things, it makes them look more credible to me. I personally feel Adam looks more credible than Lori in this moment while she's upset over, ma'am, we are here for conspiracy to commit murder. Like, that's why we're here. We're not here to talk about your green chili enchilada. I'm sure her lawyer probably, I don't know, because she does have advisory council. They probably kept a straight face because, like, it is what it is. It's her. She's able to ask the questions, and the state did not object or anything. But and there's something called, so there's gray rock, and then is it yellow? So there's one where you give some reaction, but it's not a full reaction, where you might acknowledge the emotion, but you're not feeding into the storm. So, oh my. Let's keep it going.
Who do you think initiated the final communication in our relationship?
I wonder if she knows it was her. The way she worded that question, I wonder if she knows that maybe it was her. I don't know.
Who concluded it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So right now it's 2025, is that correct?
Yes.
And so we haven't spoken in about 8 years? Would that be correct?
It's probably 7 or 8 years.
Okay. So would you say up until that point that how often would we communicate before that?
Before what?
Before 2018?
Probably on a regular basis. Once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month.
Like a call or a text message?
Yes.
Just keeping in touch?
Yes.
You know of us living in Hawaii and you were living in Kansas at the time?
Yes.
And in your career, you lived in lots of different places, is that correct?
Yes.
Austin,
Yes.
Dallas,
Yes.
New York,
Yes.
Okay.
Wichita,
Yes.
Sacramento.
Yes.
Why does any of that matter? Everywhere he's lived? Like, is she jealous that he moved around a lot? Like, I don't understand. But maybe I don't know. Maybe it's relevant. I don't see it.
Did I miss anything?
Others?
And I was in Texas,
Yes.
Arizona,
Yes.
Hawaii.
Yes.
So would you say that we were not physically close during the past 20 years?
Yes, I would say that.
So our communication would be solely family get-togethers, occasional text messages. Is that correct?
And phone calls, yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Cox, did you see or hear or personally witness me conspire with my brother Alex Cox to murder my husband Charles Vallow?
Repeat that again?
Okay. Did you see with your eyes or hear with your ears or personally witness me conspire with my brother Alex Cox to murder my husband Charles Vallow?
No.
Thank you. No more questions.
Redirect?
Have you talked to your sister since Charles was shot and killed?
No.
So, since that happened, you cut off all communications with her?
Yes.
Prior to that, you were being asked about 2018 being at Lori and Charles's house. Was that the time where Lori told you she was becoming a celestial being?
Yes.
And the time where she was telling you other ideas that were not in line with the LDS faith?
Yes.
After you had heard those statements by your sister, you told us that she had asked you if you thought she was crazy, right?
Yes.
And you had responded back how?
I don't know if you're crazy, but what you're telling me is not true.
After you told her that her beliefs were not true, did that sort of end your talking with her?
Yes.
You were asked if you personally saw, heard your sister Lori conspire to kill Charles. Were you there that morning?
No.
Were you the person who was supposed to, though, be with Alex on the 10th into the morning of the 11th? You spent the night with him?
If I would have spent the night with him, yes.
So that stood out to you because you had made plans with your brother, right?
Yes.
And instead, you learned he was at Lori's house.
Yes.
You told us that you thought it was odd that your brother would be over at your sister's house at 7:30 in the morning.
Yes.
And you were aware that your brother had guns.
Yes.
Charles was going there to pick up JJ, right?
Yes.
And so did it seem odd to you that your brother would bring a gun that was loaded with extra magazines that was not safe to your sister's house where JJ was?
Objection, out of scope. This is not
Goes
just
to
a
the conspiracy.
redirect. This is not just a redirect.
Hey,
She's
didn't
mad.
ask for argument. Okay. The objection's over.
Judge Daddy. Judge Daddy stepped in. Judge Daddy said, ho, 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 ho. I did not ask for argument. Okay. Daddy Judge said, we're not doing this right now. Bring it back. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I like this judge. I think he's being fair. I think he's doing a great job. She was very because and I don't know that the prosecution's going to get that question in, but I'll press play. I'll press play.
What's the question?
Go back.
It was?
Objection, out of scope. This is not
Goes
just
to
a
the conspiracy.
redirect. This is not just a redirect.
Hey, I didn't ask for argument. Okay. The objection's overruled.
What's the question?
Sure. Did it stand out to you that your brother, who knew JJ, would bring a loaded gun and extra ammunition to the house where JJ was running around?
Well,
It
I
wasn't-
didn't know at the time.
Yeah.
You're saying afterwards?
Yeah, you learned afterwards your brother killed him, right?
Yes.
And when we're talking about this conspiracy and things that are going on, did that seem odd to you that your brother would bring a loaded gun and extra ammunition in a unsafe way to a house where your sister's son, JJ, lived?
Yeah, it seems extreme.
When you were talking to your family after this happened, did you actually tell them that you believed that Lori and Alex had conspired to kill Charles?
Yes.
Why was that?
Because Lori had told people that Charles was no longer living, that some guy named Ned was inside of his body, that there was a zombie living inside of him. And Alex didn't respond to any of my text messages when I was supposed to be with him. And he was at that house that morning. Lori talking crazy about how she's a translated being. All these things all added up into that moment and that morning. Once I found out on Saturday that Charles was shot and killed, no doubt in my mind that they killed him. That's a feeling that I got.
The feeling that I got, no doubt in my mind that they killed him. I wonder how that's going to sit with the jury. I don't know if Lori could have objected to at any point. Remember, I'm not a lawyer, and that's why having a lawyer is really important. Lawyers know the law and when and how to object about things. But wow. That was I'm going to go back because that was the whole wow.
People that Charles was no longer living, that some guy named Ned was inside of his body, that there was a zombie living inside of him. And Alex didn't respond to any of my text messages when I was supposed to be with him. And he was at that house that morning. Lori talking crazy about how she's a translated being. All these things all added up into that moment and that morning. Once I found out on Saturday that Charles was shot and killed, no doubt in my mind that they killed him. That's a feeling that I got.
And you told your family that?
Yes.
No other questions?
The last line of questioning from the possession of the gun on, I think the defendant's right, was technically beyond the scope of her cross. So based on that, I'll allow the defendant, if she wants to recross on those issues, if she elects to, may do so now.
And I think the judge is just maintaining a good record because it could have been an appeal issue if she wasn't able to recross because new things came up about the pew pew. And so, and remember, it's YouTube words. Some things, if I say them too many times, I'll get in trouble with the YouTubes, not with y'all. And so, I am glad that the judge is letting her go back if she decides to. And that's just to make sure whatever happens, that there aren't appellate issues. This is why it's good to have a lawyer. I think she's so mad she can't think.
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, are there any questions from any member of the jury? Not seeing any, sir, you can step down. You can step down. Thanks.
The jury had no questions. All right, so Serene testified. They attended spiritual gatherings together. Somebody mentioned that Lori did cross-examine her. Let me know, is this worth watching? So let me know in the chat. 1, if it's worth watching. 2, if we skip it. 1, if we want to watch Lori cross-examine. And I'm sorry if I'm saying her name wrong. It looks like Serena. Sorry. Serena. Let me know if we want to watch the cross-examination of Serena. Okay, I'm seeing more 2s than 1s. Okay, let's get to K. Because K. They had a retired policeman, forensic, K. I heard Kay's testimony was powerful. This is the younger sister of Charles Vallow. My heart goes out to Kay. My heart goes out to Charles's family. Justice for Charles. Okay.
Would you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Kay Woodcock. Charles Vallow's younger sister.
How old are you?
How old am I today?
Today.
64.
And are you married?
Yes.
Where do you currently live?
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
I want to talk to you about your siblings. You told us that you are Charles's sister. How many siblings were there in your family?
6.
And where did Charles fall into that?
He was number 3.
Who are the other siblings?
My oldest sister, Terry, then my next sister, Susan, then Charles, then Jerry, then me, then Bobby.
And where did you guys grow up?
We're in Lake Charles.
Okay. Were you close with your brother?
Yes, I was.
Did you know his wife, Lori Vallow?
Yes, I do.
Can you point her out in the courtroom and tell us what she's wearing?
She's the defendant over there in the black jacket.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
It shall.
I want to talk to you sort of about Lori and Charles. Were you at their wedding?
No, they went to Las Vegas.
Do you recall what year they got married?
2006.
Did they have a reception that?
I don't know if that's what you'd call it, but there was a family gathering in March of 2006 at a ranch in near Austin, Texas.
I think it was her 4th wedding. It was her 4th, I think, his 3rd. So they didn't make a, yeah. I'm not surprised that maybe they just went to Vegas and not surprised.
That we all went to.
Okay, kind of to celebrate that.
Yes.
Had your brother Charles been married before?
Yes.
Did he have any children from his prior marriage?
Yes.
How many?
2.
And who were they?
Cole Vallow and Zach Vallow.
And did you know if Lori had any children from a prior marriage?
Yes. Colby Ryan and Tylee Ryan.
When Lori and Charles got married, did Charles's 2 sons live with them?
Live with Charles and Lori?
Yeah.
No.
Did they stay with their mother?
Yes, they did. They visited, but they never lived there.
Where were they, was that in Arizona or still in Texas?
In Austin.
I want to ask you sort of some of the ages of the children involved. In July of 2019, was Tylee still a minor?
Yes,
So she was still living with them.
yes,
In July of 29, do you know if Colby was still a minor?
yes. Oh, wait, no, Colby was not.
He was an adult at
He
that
was an
point.
adult.
And in July of 2019, were Charles's two sons, Cole and Zach, still minors or adults?
They were adults.
Okay. Did Charles and Lori have any children together?
They adopted my grandson, JJ.
And can you tell us how that worked out?
How that worked
Or
out, meaning
how did they get involved in adopting your grandchild?
Charles approached me about it one day. He called, and I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on then, and that was my son's child, and there was a lot going on. So I just told him then, look, I can't make a decision like that. We don't know how this is going to go. Just well, just keep me in mind. Keep it in mind. And so I kept it in mind.
And do you recall, when did they adopt JJ?
It was final in July of 2014.
How old was he then?
He was 2.
Did JJ have any special needs?
Yes, he was autistic, and he was born 10 weeks premature.
Okay. So he took a little extra care.
He did, absolutely.
Do you recall, so if he was 2 and they adopted him, how old was he in July of 2019?
He was 7. We spent his 7th birthday together in Lake Charles.
So in July of 2019, to your knowledge, Lori and Charles still had 2 children under the age of 18 with them, Tylee and JJ?
Yes,
So if in July of 2019, Lori Vallow was saying she had 5 kids she was taking care of, you were unaware of the other 3?
there were not 5 there, no. There were 2.
Can you tell us about the relationship between Charles and JJ?
Charles was the best dad. I mean, he was always doting on him. The arrangement I figured out eventually was that if Charles was working out of town, Lori had him all by herself. And so when Charles got back to town, JJ was his to take care of, 100%.
Would Charles bring JJ to visit your side of the family in Louisiana?
Oh, yes.
Did you regularly see him?
Yes, once JJ learned how to fly, and, excuse me, I need water. Once JJ learned how to fly, and, that because he was autistic, something like that is, a big deal for him. And he loved it, so he was a little flyer. He loved to go in the airplane.
What did your brother Charles do for a living?
He sold annuities. He was a financial planner.
And how long did you know him to do that?
If I had to guess, 20 years, I guess.
Did he work for others or have his own business? What do you recall?
He had his own business.
Had he previously had ever?
I think the question, how did that work out? If she had fully answered it, that I don't know if that could have been a mistrial. Remember, I'm not a lawyer, but I think like that could have caused a major problem. And so I'm glad that Kay got clarification for things. And they are speaking about him in the past tense. So I wonder if the jury will kind of catch on that they're talking about the children in past tense. They may not. I'm not sure.
Any times ever worked for others?
Yes,
But in July of 2019, he had his own business.
yes.
Did he have a business?
But they are definitely not going to know that Lori was charged and convicted in their deaths. The jury is not going to know that. Remember, not a lawyer. I listen to a lot of lawyers on YouTube, and it's my understanding that information that can be prejudicial to the jury, because Lori is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. And if the jury knows that she's done these other crimes, they might be more likely to convict her. And so often in cases like this, unless, they try to keep it out. But
his partner?
He did, yes.
Did his job require him to travel a lot?
He did. He would be gone 3 or 4 days a week, on average. Sometimes he didn't have to travel, but he was just, but yeah, he would be gone 3 or 4 days a week when he would be working.
I want to ask you a little bit about Charles. Was he sort of a meticulous person when it came to paperwork?
Oh, yes. I mean, for when you're doing that type of work, you have to be meticulous and methodical, and you can't make any errors. You can't miss a dot or crossing a T, because it will get kicked back to you, and then it just causes a lot of delay and a lot of trouble. So he was actually, he said, there was never anybody I've ever trusted to do this for me. And I was like, well, I'll do it for you, because,
All right, we'll stop here.
yeah.
So when Charles was working as financial planner, do you know if he had Lori help him with any part of his job?
I don't really know exactly what she did, but yes,
Okay.
but I don't know what she did.
Prior to Charles being a financial advisor, did he have a very different career in sports?
Oh, he quit, I don't remember because I was quite young then, but he did, I believe he was drafted in the early 70s into the Houston Astros minor league.
So when you were growing up, did you see your brother playing baseball?
I was raised at a baseball field. If it wasn't Charles, Jerry played for years, my other brother, but Charles stuck with it, and that's how he got to college with a degree, with a scholarship.
So you got stuck many a night and a weekend having to be at the ball field with your brother?
Yes.
What position did your brother play?
He was a pitcher. He was very, very good. He was a left-handed pitcher, and they're very hard to hit against.
Okay. Did he bat right or left-handed?
He was left-handed.
Did he do everything left-handed?
Yes.
Left-handed? After your brother, well, let me ask you, do you know how long he played in the semi-pro?
I don't, he had moved to Houston, and but he blew out his knee, and that's ended that right there.
Y'all know I'm here for the interruptions. Okay, so great question. If the jury asks about JJ and Tylee or their whereabouts, are they able to find out anything? So the questions are always screened, and they only ask the questions that they can ask. So even if the jury asks that question is not going to be read out loud. It's my understanding often when there are jury questions, both the defense and prosecution review the questions, and they agree on which, and with the judge, and they agree which ones are and aren't appropriate, and they only ask the ones that are appropriate. We can't see the process because Lori has to, because they're doing this, like they're doing sidebars with like they're doing it in this way because Lori is representing herself, but the judge, I don't think, would allow that question.
Did your brother stay in shape after that, even though he blew out his knee?
Oh, yes, he was always doing something, always. Bike riding, hiking, just anything. Gym, he was very active.
So every time you saw him, he was taking care of himself.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you a little bit about religion. Did your family grow up in the LDS church or faith?
No, we did not.
Did you know Charles to ever convert to the LDS faith?
He did at some point during his marriage to Lori.
Okay. When Lori and Charles were married, did they always live in one state, or did they move?
No, they lived here in Phoenix, in the Phoenix area, Chandler, Gilbert, and then they moved to Hawaii in 2014, and then they moved back late 2016 or early 2017.
Back to,
Back here to Phoenix area.
do you recall where they were, what state they were in when they met?
When Charles and Lori met, they
Yeah.
were in Texas.
Texas, okay. In 2018 and 19, you told us that Charles and JJ would come visit you and the family regularly.
Yes,
In March of 2018, did you have a member of your family pass away?
yes, my mother did in March of 18.
Did Charles come out for that?
Yes, he did. He was there for her services. Lori was not, and we felt like something was going on. Well, actually, my husband felt it before I did, and then when she didn't show for my mother's,
Because to not go to your mother-in-law's funeral, like that's like you, it's that's hmm. Like I couldn't imagine something happening. Now, like if it's my husband's uncle that he wasn't that close to or something, I don't always take off for that. But for like my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, for wow, the fact that Lori wasn't there, hmm, okay.
funeral, I just thought that was just appalling. It appalled me that she wouldn't even come to something like that with her husband.
What was your relationship like with Lori?
Because of the work I did, the company we owned, I was on the phone an extreme amount of time, all the time. So I really don't like to call people. I'm not a phone person. I'll text you all day long, but I really don't like to talk. And so Lori and I never really had a big phone relationship. It was a text here and there, but mostly Charles would keep me up to date as to different things that were going on, or what they were up to, or Charles would call. Yeah, Charles would call me mostly.
So it sounds like you weren't close with her.
When Lori and I were together, it was like we hadn't missed a minute. We just took up where we left off, and she's very outgoing, and she's very friendly and very easy to talk to, and so we got along rather well, and I loved her.
Oh, wow.
So continuing in 2018, do you recall seeing Charles and JJ coming out to visit you guys in October of 2018?
Yes,
What was that for?
just a weekend visit.
Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead to the cross-examination, okay? The full link to this is down in the description. Normally when I see Lori, because they normally do a different view when Lori gets up for cross-examination. Maybe it wasn't long. Okay. All right. Preparing myself because people have mentioned in the chat that because Lori comes off like a bully to witnesses sometimes, to me. And defense attorneys have to be careful with that. And when you're the defendant, you have to be mindful of how your actions look to the jury even more. Let's try this at normal speed. I'll speed it back up if we need to.
And he needed to be with her.
Tyler.
So after she found out and had confronted you about that change of beneficiary where you are now getting Charles's life insurance policy, she changed her mind and refused to let JJ go to Charles's service, his
Yes.
dad's service.
I wasn't aware of that. I will rewind that a little bit. It sounds like Lori refused to allow JJ to go to Tyler, to JJ to go to Charles's funeral.
She was left with these 5 kids, right?
Yeah, 5 kids. She had Colby and Tylee and JJ. And
at that
Colby
time-
was out of the house, so it was just Tylee and JJ.
So she's messaging you this, saying how upset she is because she has 5 kids to take care of.
Yeah,
And then she tells you that, is this why you wanted JJ to come to Charles's service?
no, I had already gotten the okay from her to come get him. I was gonna fly here, pick him up, go back to Louisiana, keep him for a week and attend this, so he could attend the service during that time. And when she found out when she found the change of beneficiary form, she said that she was too busy. They were moving to Hawaii, and it would be too confusing for JJ to come, and he needed to be with her.
And I don't think they moved to Hawaii, I don't think.
So after she found out and had confronted you about that change of beneficiary where you are now getting Charles's life insurance policy, she changed her mind and refused to let JJ go to Charles's service, his
Yes.
dad's service. After this confrontation about Charles making you the beneficiary of the life insurance policy, did that pretty much end most of the contact you had with Lori, other than you reaching out to talk with JJ?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no other questions.
All right, Cross.
Boy.
Heard like, well, I don't know if that was a hot mic moment. But I heard that. That was a hot mic. I think that was later.
Ms. Woodcock, where were you on July 11th, 2019?
At home.
What the fuck? I don't even cuss that much, y'all. And like, I wonder how that came off to the jury. This is his sister. How do you start? How do you start with where were you the day I am charged with conspiring with my brother to kill your brother? Like, why does it matter where she was? I guess because her, she's trying to say her testimony maybe doesn't matter because she wasn't there. But the only person that was there and is still alive, we know this, the jury doesn't, is Lori. That's the only person. What? Also, it was Kay that said, "Oh boy." I heard the "oh boy." Let's go back. Okay. I missed the "oh boy."
Ms. Woodcock, where were you on July 11th, 2019?
At home in Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Were you aware at all of the relationship between Charles and Tylee?
It was, let's say, it was a bit contemptuous. It seemed like there was always a lot of drama going on, and so that's all I knew. He didn't say too much about it, and I didn't pry.
But you knew that there was some kind of contention going on with those two for
I can't
a
hear
while.
you.
I'm sorry. You did know that there was some kind of
I can't hear you. I love that. And she probably couldn't. But I still think that any tension between Tylee and Charles, I think Lori possibly was instigating or at the center of that, or she was sitting back like letting Tylee almost fight for her. Like I don't think their relationship was I don't think Lori is a very healthy person. So we need to take a pause for 1,000 concurrent viewers. Just 5 seconds, all right, real quick. Thank y'all. I'm Dr. Barry. We are here to talk psychology and true crime. Let's keep it going.
contention going on with those two for a while.
Yes.
Okay. And you weren't really aware of the events that happened that morning, were you?
The morning of his murder?
Of July 11th?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
Because you didn't tell me.
She could have asked that part be like, she could have, but she's not a lawyer. She doesn't know what to do.
Ms. Woodcock, did you see or hear or personally witness me conspire with Alex Cox to kill my husband, Charles Vallow?
No, but I saw a ton of evidence that did.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right, redirect.
Just briefly. You were asked about the relationship between your brother and Tylee. How old was Tylee when?
And it's normal for a step parent and their stepchild, or even a child and a teenager, to have some contention. Like, that is, the level cannot, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes it can get to a toxic level. Um, but good God.
When Lori and Charles got married?
She was 3, or right around 3.
So was Charles in her life for most of her memorable years?
Exactly. Yes, he was.
And how old was she in July of 2019?
She was 16. Yeah, yeah,
So teenager.
yes.
In terms of their relationship, are you saying that Charles and Tylee never had good times?
Oh, I'm not, no, I'm not saying that. I saw them have good times, and it wasn't, it wasn't that they couldn't look at each other, or, it wasn't like that. But, I mean, yeah, a teenage girl on one is hard anyway, but I do know that there was a lot of issues with her dad and Lori with her ex-husband and custody, and it was a mess. It was a mess.
So Tylee had a lot going on in her life,
Yes, she did.
and you would see her and Charles at times have difficulty getting along.
I never really saw anything that sticks out in my mind. But I just know he'd tell me how it was just difficult. And as a step parent, it can be very difficult. I can attest to that.
So on July 11th, when Charles Vallow was killed, did you actually have any idea that your brother was dead?
None at all. How would I know?
So in terms of you learning that your brother was dead, it was never from Lori
Or
Vallow.
from her.
It was,
It was from Google that my husband found.
Wow.
thank you. I have no other questions.
Are there any questions for this witness from anyone on the jury?
This is a good question about teens having difficult relationships with parents or step parents. And it can rise to a level where family therapy or where outside intervention is necessary. What I think was happening in this case is, I think Lori wanted the children on her side against Charles. I think Lori is very much about like, validate me, love me, and wants people to believe her. And I don't know that she would have wanted Tylee to have a good relationship with Charles, especially when Lori wasn't really liking Charles. And so those are just my thoughts. Um uh Somebody pointed out the fact I missed the part where Kay stated that Lori FedExed her Charles's ashes to her work address. Like, I just, ugh, ugh. Yes, triangulation is really common, and we talked about that in the last video, creating where it's Lori and the children against Charles, and I don't know that JJ would ever go against so it was probably like Lori and Tylee against Charles, with Lori being the one orchestrating it. So if I was the family therapist, I would try to get the parents on the same page, because Lori seemed to be against Charles too. So when I saw their dynamic, I would be like, okay, y'all aren't presenting a united front. Like, y'all need to get on the same page first, and then we present a united front to the child. Even if y'all disagree, y'all have to, excuse me, hit the mic. Y'all have to work out that disagreement first privately, and then present a united front to the children. Because I've seen this happen in families where, let's say, one parent wants to set limits around the phone and the other parent doesn't, and the one parent says your dad doesn't want you to, and you can't throw the other parent under the bus. Like, you have to, even if my husband has a rule that I don't like, I don't completely agree with, like, I'm not going to say your dad said, like, it's like, okay, remember the rule, this is how you're supposed to do it. I wouldn't say, this is all about your dad, to make him out to be the bad guy. And in relationships like that, they're normally trying to make somebody the bad guy. I don't think there were any jury questions because there's not a lot of time left, but let's just see.
I don't see any questions. You could step down now.
No questions from the jury. Let's see the cross-examination of Serena. And they attended um some events together. Cross-examination. All right, we went back to this part. Remember, full links down in the description.
Ms. Sharp, did you take an oath when you came into this courtroom today?
Yes, I did.
Did you raise your hand?
Yes, I did.
Did you swear to tell the truth?
Yes, I did.
The whole truth?
Yes.
I hate the way she asks questions, and it might be so. I don't like it when people waste time, and the way that she asks questions, because she's asking the same question 3 different times, because I guess she's trying to get at the fact Lori thinks she's lying. Like, that's what Lori is trying to get at. But I don't like the way that she asks questions. I don't. It's just my own personal thing. It might be some other people might agree in the chat.
Nothing but the truth?
Yes.
So help you who?
God.
So can we agree that this court acknowledges that your testimony here today will be accountable to God?
Your Honor, I don't object to the relevance of this.
Sustained.
Your Honor, they brought
Your Honor, Daddy was just waiting for the objection. Okay. The state didn't even have to, like, he was just waiting for her to object, because it's almost like Lori was like, you're gonna have to atone to God for the lies that you've told today. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, gotta go back to small. I go back and forth for some of my reactions because some people like to skip ahead. So yeah. Ricky.
up the
Ask
religion.
for a response. It's sustained. Ask the next question.
Do you believe that your testimony here will be accountable to God?
Yes.
Okay.
Is your opening statement accountable to God? Because I think it was full of BS. My own personal, I don't know that it's true, but I don't think I don't think the evidence is going to show half of the stuff Lori tried to say in her opening statement.
Ms. Sharp, how many times did we meet in person?
4.
How many one-on-one conversations during those meetings do you think that we actually had? Just you and me. Nobody else around. Just you and me.
Maybe 2.
2 conversations in our whole lives.
Maybe
Just me
3.
and you.
You said during those meetings.
During the 4 times that we saw each other in person, how many times did you and I have a one-on-one conversation where other people were not in the conversation? Just me and you.
I can remember 3.
Okay? And how many times did
And I don't think if I don't know if Lori is smacking her mouth too, because I hear that, like I can hear it too.
we communicate on the phone?
Do you want me to estimate? I don't remember how many times.
Sure, just an estimate.
I'm not sure how to estimate that. Multiple times?
Like more than 10 or less than 10?
Probably more than 10.
More than 20?
I don't remember.
Okay. And text messages, the same.
I wouldn't know.
How many times do you think that we conversed via text?
I wouldn't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure how to answer that again.
Okay, so
Multiple times.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that some of the things that you remember are from other people and not actually from me to you directly?
Perhaps.
Okay.
Oh, we got that
So
one.
in the instance when you said that I mentioned to you something about zombies, I would like to know what I said to you exactly verbatim about zombies.
I would not be able to tell you verbatim what you said back. It's 2025, something from 2019. I would not be able to tell you verbatim what you said unless I wrote it down. 2019, 2018, whatever year we're talking about. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Lori. But she's trying to discredit this witness's testimony. That's what, and she's doing mm, like sometimes she makes a decent point. I'll give her that sometimes.
Well, I remember we talked about zombies in 2019 for the girls' weekend. You had mentioned zombies.
I mentioned zombies at that weekend out of my mouth and not someone else, but me.
Object to argumentative.
Overruled, you can ask, why don't you rephrase that question?
Okay. So you're saying under oath that I said the word zombies at that meeting or
Her tone is just so like accusatory and just I don't know, like her tone is aggressive to me. That's just me.
I'll go with that.
To the best of my recollection, it was that weekend during the girls' weekend, 2019.
And
Again, that was 6 years ago. So like verbatim, I don't remember verbatim, but I think it was that weekend.
So it could have been that someone else was talking to you about zombies, but I was actually there also. Is that correct?
I'm going to object that the witness has answered that question and said it was her.
Overruled, she can answer.
Would you mind restating, please?
Is it possible that someone else said the word zombie and not me at that meeting when we were all there with the girls?
It's possible, but I don't think it was. I think
Okay,
it
then
was
what
you.
did I say exactly about zombies? I want to know the sentence I said to you about zombies.
Hold on,
Again,
ask questions, okay?
I
make
object to
statements.
asked and answered.
So rephrase your question.
What sentence did I say to you with the word zombie in it?
I'm going to object to asked and answered.
Technically, it has been asked and answered, but go ahead and answer.
The judge
Again, I don't remember verbatim. That was, 6 years ago?
So it could be possible that it really never came out of my mouth. Is that true?
Okay, I'm going to object again to asked and answered now a third time.
Sustained.
Ms. Sharp, who are the 3 Nephites in the Book of Mormon?
The 3 Nephites? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
In 3rd Nephi 28, the 3 Nephites, do you know who they are?
Off the top of my head, no.
You do not know who they are.
She just said,
No, not off the top of my head.
Okay. In the Bible, do you know of John the Revelator?
Yes.
Do you know of John the Revelator being translated?
I don't remember that, but
You don't remember that? What about in the Old Testament, Elijah? Was he translated?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to relevance.
she's saying that right now, whoa, is she unable to feel pain? Has she been translated? Is that what she's saying? It really is pointless, Lou. It really is. But we're watching it together. I'm glad y'all are all here. Welcome. All right. I make myself small again. Oh my gosh.
What's the relevance?
I've been accused of being out of the scope of the LDS religion when this is exactly in the scope of the LDS religion.
But you're saying you've been translated and you can't, like, you're immortal and can't feel pain?
All right, I guess to the extent you're comparing yourself to these biblical figures, I'll allow it.
was Elijah translated? Yes, I believe so.
Okay? But you don't know that John the Revelator was translated as well?
I can't remember.
So she has a very, very weak ego. This question says, why isn't Lori embarrassed by any of this? So I think she feels justified in what she does. I think she feels that she is doing God's work. Like, she thinks she is on a mission and she is proving and she is fighting for, because I think she thinks justice would be her being found innocent. So she thinks all of this is normal. She also struggles with how her behavior impact other people. She lacks empathy, the ability to see how her doing this, how that looks to the jury, how that looks to the judge and to everybody else, to us watching, because I think her perspective is the only perspective she's able to see and validates. And if you are against her, then you're wrong and you're not as bright as her. You just don't get it. You're a part of the conspiracy. Like, it goes, you're either conspiracy or you're for her. And those are her only two options. Very black and white. It's very problematic, but Lori did an opening statement. It's the state's, so the state is presenting witnesses. I think Lori might choose to not testify. If she does testify, her advisory council has to ask her questions. And she's not able to just give narrative testimony. And so we will see. All right. I hope that's helpful.
And then the three Nephites in the Book of Mormon, they're translated as well?
No, there were 3. You asked me their names. I don't remember their
I
names.
wasn't asking their names. I said, do you know who they are?
That was gaslighting. Do you know who they are? I think she very much, the cluster B personality traits are antisocial, narcissistic, histrionic, and borderline. And she's very much, in my opinion, my personal thoughts. I don't know her personally, but I do believe a psychologist diagnosed her with histrionic and I think, and maybe narcissistic features. If sh that would not surprise me. She has psychopathic like traits, antisocial traits where she thinks she's above the law. Histrionic is, and I like to give y'all the most accurate, so I like to go directly to it. It is characterized by persistent pattern of excessive emotionality and attention-seeking behavior. So, excessive emotionality and attention-seeking behavior. I believe Amber Heard was given borderline and histrionic features by the amazing Dr. Curry. Um, but so histrionic personality disorder, strong need for attention, often can exhibit dramatic attention-seeking behavior, including seductive behavior and very shallow emotions. All right. And I use these terms because these are personality disorders that can respond to treatment. And often, what happens with personality is that there might have been true childhood trauma. So there could have been something that happened where a person's personality forms in this way. And what is now maladaptive, what is problematic in the present, could have been helpful back in the past. So sometimes somebody that is very attention seeking, when I see that child in my office, they're often the one that reported the harm in the home. Their behavior was so all over that we knew that what's going on with this child, and we were able to get them help and support. And that at that time, that attention seeking behavior helped them get safe. And then the problem comes is when even in when they're in a safe environment, they continue to engage in these behaviors. Everybody wants attention. So wanting attention is not the problem. Wanting validation, wanting affirmation, having a strong ego, like that's not a problem. The thing with narcissists is that they lack empathy. So people with narcissistic traits, they lack the ability to put themselves truly in the other person's shoes. Some people can fake empathy. We talked about cognitive empathy versus emotional empathy. Cognitive empathy is okay, I can, because some people can that have antagonistic traits, they can kind of think about, okay, I can kind of see how that might affect things, but their automatic behavior in the midst of conflict ignores the thoughts and feelings of other people. And so, those are my thoughts. I hope that's helpful. This is so painful. This is almost 2 hours. Oh, but we're going to keep going.
As in, are you aware of them? I'm sorry. I'll be more specific. Are you aware of the 3 Nephites in the Book of Mormon?
Yes.
That they were translated?
Yes.
So is it fair to say that that isn't uncommon in the Christian belief system, to believe in people being translated?
And more LDS than Christian, I think, but I don't know.
I don't know if I'm qualified to answer that question for all of Christianity.
Okay. Are you a Christian that believes in the Bible?
Yes.
Object, Your Honor, to relevance.
I'll allow it briefly, but hurry up and make your point.
Yes, I believe in the Bible, of course.
And Elijah in the Bible is translated, right?
Yes.
And you believe in that, right?
Yes.
And you're a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is that correct?
Correct.
So that would not be out of the scope of what you believe.
But the story about Elijah is that he ascended directly to heaven, and that he didn't die. That was one of the prophets that's in the Old Testament. But Lori is trying to say now in this moment, she has had this type of thing and she's a transcended being, but she's still here on it's in my personal thoughts, it comes off a little delusional. And my personal thoughts are her beliefs are to try to justify her crimes, trying to justify her manipulation and things that she wants for herself. And I don't know that she's healthy enough to, because sometimes one of the worst things you can do is give somebody that has problems a Bible, and like they can then use that like in the wrong way, in the wrong hands. Some of the most horrific things have been done in the name of God, and that like was not was kind of out there. And so I have a problem, and I personally consider it spiritual abuse when people try to use the Bible to justify like their own problematic thoughts, their own problematic behaviors. Those are just my personal thoughts. Let's keep it going.
Believe. That's all I'm asking.
Correct.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you. So when we were having this girls' weekend, what else did we do besides one prayer?
I remember going out to lunch, and we went to the temple, and we did service projects.
So we had a typical fun girls' weekend
Yes.
with 5 minutes of a prayer.
I don't remember how long that prayer was.
But basically, out of the 72 hours that we got together, 5 minutes of it we spent actually praying.
Again, I don't remember how long the prayer was, but that was not, from my perspective, the focus or majority of our time spent.
Okay. How long would you say that prayer was? 10 minutes? Longer?
I don't recall.
Okay. But a tiny portion of our whole fun weekend, right?
That is a small portion, yes.
Okay. How many communications have you had over the past 5 years with Christina Atwood?
Many.
Like how many?
I'm guessing they might be friends. Christina was the other. I think we looked at her testimony first, or it was after. Was it? Yeah, it was after Nancy Joe, I believe.
And I'm not sure how to estimate that.
Daily, weekly, monthly?
Weekly for sure, sometimes daily.
Okay. So would you say over the past 5 years that your relationship has grown with Christina?
Yes.
And are you related now?
To Christina? No, we're not related.
Oh, as in-laws?
No,
Okay, I wondered. I didn't know.
no.
Your Honor, again, I'm going to ask that the defendant be told not to comment about the questions and testify.
So people are asking about what it means to be a translated being. And in Mormonism, translated being refers to a person who is changed physically and spiritually by God, becoming immortal and able to continue serving God without experiencing death or pain until their resurrection. Okay. And it's Enoch, Elijah, Moses, John the Apostle, and the three Nephites. Those are the individuals that within the Mormon faith that they believe have been translated. Okay.
Yes, the jury should disregard that comment after the answer.
Are you still in contact with Zulema Pastenes?
No, I haven't had contact with her in a while.
Are you in contact with Kay Woodcock?
Who? I'm sorry?
Kay Woodcock?
I don't know who that is.
Okay. Are you still in contact with Nicole Earl?
Yes,
How often?
often.
She's sad that she's not in the group anymore. Like this just it comes off mean girl to me. Like that's how the back and forth, like that's how Lori's cross-examination comes off. And somebody said high school, which I think is because it comes off more middle school to me.
Again,
Weekly or daily?
weekly, sometimes daily.
Okay. What about Melanie Gibb? Are you still in contact with her?
No, I run into her occasionally, but
She's trying to get the tea. What in the world? And y'all must be talking behind my back. Anytime y'all talk, it has to be about me. Ma'am, everything is not about you.
You said also in your testimony earlier that I said that I believe I don't need to repent and you were shocked. Is that correct?
yes.
What did I say to you exactly?
Again, I don't remember verbatim. That was over 6 years ago, but something to the effect of you didn't need to repent. Again, I don't know exactly, but or we didn't need to repent, whatever it was. But yes, that's what I remember.
What was the context of that conversation? Like, how would that come up? I'm like, how would that come up?
I don't remember what we were talking about or how that subject was brought to the forefront, but it was, I definitely remember.
Hey, y'all, I have reached, this happened with Sarah Boone too. Like, I have reached my limit. So, Zulema was Alex's wife. Remember? So, Zulema and Alex got married, right? Like, so I think Lori, because I think they were all a group, and I think Lori encouraged Zulema and Alex to get married. And I don't know if Zulema is on because I don't know if she was involved. I don't know. I don't know how I know she was involved in the Tylee, JJ, and Tammy case. Anybody know in the chat if she's on the witness list? All right. thank you all. Like, I can't. Like, I have maxed out at what I can tolerate from Lori. Trial begins again on Monday. The link is down below. My head, I'm starting to get a headache. Okay. Like, I just can't listen to any more of Lori. Um, uh, and if y'all have specific questions, I can answer any specific questions and the full links. If you want to go back, we stopped at 3 hours and 22 minutes and 17 seconds. And I think we might have had about 10 minutes left, but I, I literally, I can't. I love y'all back. I just can't. I appreciate you all. My hair is going to be blonder the next time you all see me. I'm about to go dye my hair. We are going to go see the Minecraft movie tomorrow. Please take care of you, take care of your family. Um, uh, you have to make sure that you're taking care of you. And so thank you, Shani. I stretched it a little for the dye, and I'm excited to go a little bit blonder. Um, I do not have a video about vagus nerve exercises. I sometimes do them myself. So there's one where you just kind of there are a few different ones that I do. Um, excuse me, Dr. Eric Gentry's Tools for Hope. That was a video that I learned. I took his class in person, and sometimes I share his videos with my clients. Your boys love the Minecraft movie. My son is so excited. So Lori Vallow is going to take up a lot of our time for the next little bit. I go live on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Next Saturday we're good. The Saturday after that I'm going to take off. But I will keep y'all updated on my schedule. I hope y'all have a good one. I will see y'all on Tuesday. Bye.